Hello everyone, and welcome to the very first iWeb Wednesday tutorial. Before we get too far into this, I just want to say a few things. First off, I apologize if this is a long tutorial. I've got some things to say. After that, I just want to say that our Facebook has been changed from a group to a page, simply because there's more things I can do as an administrator, and just some more ways for you and I to interact. So it's something pretty cool. Links are in the sidebar for both Facebook and Twitter. Twitter.com/medhall and whatever the Facebook thing is, a super long URL. Third thing, why am I doing these iWeb tutorials? You might be wondering. Simply because I feel like iWeb is a little bit underestimated by most people, which is true. It's not exactly the world's best website creation software, saying that it comes free on all Macs, and it just kind of frowned upon. I mean, there's definitely a lot of better pieces of software out there, but saying that this comes free on all Macs, it's pretty decent. So obviously this little iWeb series isn't going to take a whole long amount of time to finish. So if you guys have any ideas for what I can do after this, I would love your input. Leave a comment down below, or always medievalhollywood@gmail.com, or Facebook, Twitter, whatever you guys want to do for contacting me. I really appreciate that. So now, on that note, we will begin the tutorial, and I'm going to be talking about formatting a website. So let's jump in. So pretty much today I just want to talk about formatting a website, and by that I mean like changing the size of your page and your menu before you get too far into adding pictures and details to your website. This will be, just kind of change the user's interaction range and whatnot like that. So on that note, here we have pretty much what I left off with on the intro tutorial. If you guys didn't see the iWeb intro tutorial, click that button. I'll take you straight to the video. But I'm just going to be opening up a new theme, because it's a little bit of a better example for what I want to show you guys today. So here we are with a pretty much blank website, nothing on it, nothing fancy. If we click the inspector window up here, it'll take us to this little lovely page, and there should be two buttons, either page or layout. If not, make sure you're selected on the far left tab along the top. Go to layout, and I'm just going to change this to a black simply so that you guys can see better. So everywhere where it's black is where the user can interact with your website. If it's white, this is like pretty much a background or an image or something where things cannot happen. Kind of sounds weird, but pretty much where the user cannot interact with your website. As an example, here I have this lovely picture of my website background, or of my YouTube background. If I push this to the edge, as you can see, as soon as it goes into the white, the background page of YouTube totally disappears. You just can't put it any further than that on either side. And there's a way to change this, and if you're still in the layout tab, go to the content width and see if I were to change this to about 1000 or so. You can see instantly there's a much wider range where the user can interact with your web page. And this is really great if you have a lot of pictures or a lot of videos or simply some stuff to say. This same thing can also be applied for the height. Here in the content height, we can change this to say 700 or so. Nice long web page. So obviously there's more and more areas for you to interact with your user. I wouldn't recommend putting it more than 1000, because most laptop monitor screens and whatnot like that don't have a really large range where they can interact with a website, simply because they are portable. If you are on a big desktop or something, then you can probably go for a little bit larger, but because the world is going mobile, I recommend not doing much more than 1000. Also, the top and bottom padding, don't really do anything with that. That's confusing. The header height, if you guys have an ad or something that you want to run for your latest production or something fun like that, or if you just want to make some money and put a company's advertisement on there, I'm going to cover that in a further tutorial later down the road. But footer height, I recommend leaving at about 150, which is what it should be preset at. See, if I change it to 0, we can see instantly there's a big difference, obviously in height. But if I were to change this back to 150, you can see everywhere that is inside this lovely blue box down here. That's the footer, and this is great for putting all your copyright stuff with like the legal stuff, or if you're a company and you're making this for someone, which I doubt you are because no one uses iWeb for companies. If you just want to make some a couple extra bucks, you can run down a couple ads down there in the footer, and just some things like that. So that's just pretty much what you guys want to think about as far as formatting your website. If you guys have something to say for like, just if you have a lot to say, you might want to change the content height and width. I got those mixed up. Whatever. Anyways, I also want to talk a little bit about the menu along the top, because I know a couple of you guys have been asking like, "Hey, mine is so boring and blank. How did you get yours to be so cool?" And I'll show you how. So if we come back here in the same little window and hit page, we can see there's two buttons: include page and navigation menu, which pretty much means this page that you are looking at, if you want that to be in the menu along the top, we can click that and say no. But that's not going to change anything. And also display navigation menu. That's what you really want to look at. This way the whole entire menu will just disappear, which is what you want, because you're going to be making your own custom one using text boxes. If we come down here and select the text box option, and I'll type in like welcome, or I don't know, just let's say this is the welcome page, so I'll type in welcome. Alright, and then we can take this text box and drag it along the top. And let's also add a new page, and let's call this one blank. So here we have blank, delete, put a text box, call this blank. Move this, after I get rid of those, bring this to the top, and copy and paste that over to my welcome site. And then I can copy and paste the welcome page. So here I have both the welcome and the blank page. Now I know they're not going to be linked to each other yet, but I'm going to get into that into a second. Don't do anything with the colors right now, simply because it's going to mess it all up as soon as we do some hyperlinking. So you need to have that selected, and come over here to the inspector window, and there should be a little button called Link Inspector. It's got an arrow and a blue box or a blue circle beneath it. And here we have a tab called Hyperlink. Make sure it's highlighted and say Enable as a Hyperlink. And as you can see, it's got a little lovely underline underneath it. If we like go over it with our mouse, we can see it turns black. So darn, I have those active. My bad. So pretty much once we do that, we can see there's a link to option, like one of my pages, an external page, a file, or an email. I'm just going to say one of my pages simply for right now for tutorial purposes, and let's call this blank. So also the welcome, let's hyperlink that to one of my pages, and let's call this to the welcome page. So right now I'm in the blank page. Now if I make hyperlinks active and hit welcome, I'll go back to the welcome page. It's same thing pretty much. You can just always copy and paste those into a different page. If you got like some special font and them all like laid out nicely, and do that. So I'll stop making those active, and I'll come back here to the formatting, and I'll show you guys how to change the color and stuff. In the same tab, or in the same window, hit the format tab, and where it says normal, let's change this to say pink. So now every time you go to the site, it's pink. If you go over it, it's black. But if you don't like the black when you go over it, you can always make sure it's selected and go over here to roll over, and let's say I want this to be green. So it's pink right now, go over it, and it's green. You guys probably get the idea. It isn't too complicated of a subject. If you have your website published, you can change it to a visited. Just kind of like if you've been to a website and if you already clicked on a link in the past, it'll be like blue or something. You can change that here as well. So yeah, that's just about that. I don't really have too much else to say, but if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them below. I'll be more than happy to respond to any questions.